Before we get, Alex, to all things Real Madrid, Manchester City, bring us up to date. A bunch of conflicting reports back here about Ruben Amarin of Sporting Lisbon and Liverpool. Talks have taken place. Talks will take place. A verbal agreement. Where are we at with it? What's the latest?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. As you say, conflicting reports when it comes to the future of Ruben Amarin. I think it's pretty clear that he's looking for his next job now, looking to leave Sporting Lisbon. I think on his part, he would be keen to replace Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, and why wouldn't you? Going for the title, they've got some exciting young players as well. It's a brilliant job to be walking into. It has been reported over in Germany this morning, with Amarin also rumoured to be a target for Bayern Munich, that verbal agreement is in place. That's been very heavily played down by my sources at Anfield, so I think maybe those reports are premature. I have been told that initial contact has been made between Liverpool and Amarin's advisors, and I think it's likely that a formal interview will take place, but I don't think he's the only candidate at this stage. Liverpool keen to go through a proper recruitment process. I think he's one of a number of names likely to be interviewed between now and the end of the month.
Alex, we'll get to tonight's game in a second, but just in the passing, Graham Potter turning down Ajax. How close was this?
Well, talks definitely took place between Potter and Ajax, but this is the latest in a long line of opportunities that he's had and that he's turned his back on. I think the Sweden national job was his if he wanted it. Lots of overseas clubs have shown an interest in Graham Potter, and Leicester City, when they were fighting to stay in the Premier League before they appointed Dean Smith, were very keen to appoint Potter. But I think he's anxious to wait and make sure that he accepts the right opportunity. He's been out of work now for a year since leaving Chelsea. He does want to come back in, but clearly he's decided Ajax at this moment in time, in all kinds of turmoil over in the Eredivisie, not the job for him.
So, Alex, it's a glamour tie tonight, isn't it? Real Madrid against Manchester City. What is the talk over in Madrid?
Yeah, I've been looking at the sports papers over here in Madrid this morning, and revenge is the word that a lot of them are using. Of course, Real Madrid hammered by Manchester City in the second leg of their semi-final last season. Even players like Antonio Rudiger, who was given the runaround by Erling Haaland in that game, he's been talking about getting his own back on the Manchester City striker. And I have to say, the Real Madrid fans that I'm speaking to are pretty confident they can get one over the European champions. Pep Guardiola, he spoke to the media at the Bernabeu yesterday, and he was asked if the pressure is off City now they've finally got their hands on that elusive Champions League trophy.
I would say in terms of history, new, but we have a sense of, okay, we did it. We did it. And of course, if we did once, we can do it again. And being again, after what happened last season, being again here in quarterfinals, making an incredible group stage, winning all the games, winning the last 16, and being here is really good. It's really good for us.
There you go, Pep Guardiola looking ahead to this gigantic tie between Real Madrid and Manchester City here in Spain tonight. And I think he was clear there, Jim. He was saying winning one Champions League trophy isn't enough. He talked about Real Madrid, who of course have lifted it 14 times, AC Milan as well. And I get the impression he wants last season's success over in Istanbul to be the start of a dynasty in this competition for Manchester City.
Simon, you always tell us that City are not a legacy club, but if they win multiple Champions League titles, they'd soon become one, wouldn't they?
I think if you give Manchester City 20 years more, they might have the same reach, heritage and iconic values that Liverpool's and Man United's have.
20 years? It's going to take them 20 years? Who's going to hang about waiting for that?
It's taken Liverpool and Man United that amount of time to produce the kind of legacies that they've got. Liverpool didn't win anything for 30 years, or Premier League for 30 years, yet still had massive reach in the hearts and minds of people around the world. So I think Manchester City, if they continue with the way that they're going, maybe they will, maybe they won't, and if they do, then they'll lay a claim over the next generation or two to be a legacy football club, but they're not there yet.
I mean, you know, serial winners of this competition, Real Madrid, of course they are, Alex, and we know that. But maybe a note of caution from a City point of view. Madrid have strung together a 13-match unbeaten streak across all competition. So City are getting involved in something here, are they not, in terms of their opponent?
Yeah, they are, and Carlo Ancelotti, he's been there and got the T-shirt when it comes to the Champions League. He's taken charge of more games in this competition than any other manager. He'll have his team primed and ready, despite the fact that he yesterday told the media that, of course, they're concerned by the weapons that Manchester City have. I just wonder how keenly the absence of Kyle Walker will be felt by City tonight. He was so good against Vinicius Junior last season over 2 legs in that semi-final. Vinicius Junior in brilliant form. His record against Premier League clubs speaks for itself, actually. 7 goals and 7 assists in games against teams from England. So I think stopping him without Kyle Walker is one dilemma that Pep Guardiola has to solve. And I do wonder, because Manchester City are involved in such an intense title race, does that give Real Madrid the edge as well? Because they're in a situation where they're so far clear over here in Spain at the top of the Liga that they can afford to rest players for league games. And again, speaking to Spanish journalists last night, it's all about the Champions League now for Real Madrid. They see this as their trophy. They're still hurting from what happened last season. So I do expect City to face a bit of a wounded animal.
Okay, Alex, thank you so much. Alex Crook, of course, our chief football correspondent here at talkSPORT in Madrid for the big match, of course, as you would expect him to be, and coming to us live from Madrid. It's live on talkSPORT 2. What's your gut feeling in this one, Simon? I think Manchester City get through it over the 2 legs. Yeah,
I do. I mean, I know that they're in decent form, Madrid, but they concede goals, and Man City score goals. So I wouldn't be surprised if Man City beat them. I mean, beating someone in the Bernabeu is some achievement. But I think this Man City side are perfectly capable of beating this Madrid side. I would probably, if I was being sensible, I'd probably go on an odd goal in 3 win to Madrid. So a 2-1 or a 1-0 takedown of Man City, and they get back to Manchester, and Man City do a number on them. I think Man City are a better side. Yeah.
I was looking through some old pictures last night. I came across one with myself and a young lad down at the Den at Millwall after he played well for his club, and he's just standing there, quite a shy-looking lad, would you believe it? Jude Bellingham, after turning out for Birmingham City. Bellingham turning out, of course, tonight for Real Madrid against Manchester City. And we're right across it here at talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.